So Jesse, what is Allocator?
Allocator is a tool to systematically split expenses and maybe income in your general ledger across one or more classifications.
Why would someone do that?
Well, when I was at DE Shaw, which is a giant company with many affiliates, they had software that once a month they would run a process. They'd call it running the expense engine.
Okay.
And this would be allocated by headcount, and this would be allocated by square footage. This would be allocated by a particular project. So there's a lot of complexity there. Part of the problem I had was you didn't really get much visibility into the ultimate allocation that happened. So part of the inspiration behind Allocator is I just want to click through it. I want to
Yep.
quickly be able to see that legal spent a lot of time on our account this month, or at least see that this person spent a lot of time and that's driving it or something. Please don't make me initiate a large inquiry just to get a small answer. And I need that answer now. I've got to report to the board. I need to understand why that cost was so high. If you're an accounting firm and you're tracking your time, you want to quickly figure out, how are we doing on this client? That's really the driving force behind why we built an allocator.
So it's really, you want to be able to split costs in a way that makes sense for how you think about your business. I think that this expense affected these different departments based on this static or dynamic input, whether that's time or just an assumption. I also want to understand and be able to look back and go, oh, right, I did say that was 75% of the legal fee for sales in that period of time. Got it. Makes sense. So it's not just being able to break it down, but then having the traceability to actually figure out why you broke it down that way days, months, years later.
That's right.
When did you first build Allocator? The first custom code iteration of Allocator?
It's been several years. We built it for our own books. We also built it for other companies that charge time for their services. Custom code eventually became something that we tried to generalize, that we could use it in lots of different contexts, use spreadsheets as an input, because a common use case is someone will keep track of how people divided their time in a spreadsheet, being able to process those spreadsheet inputs to allocate costs, and not just payroll costs, right? Like our software costs, we pay for Dropbox, for Google, for 1Password, for lots of these products. For every person, if you don't have a fully automated system for that, then you're chasing your tail every month, and you throw your hands up and say, I'll just cut a corner, I'll just make an approximation, I just won't really do it.
What about for nonprofits and those that have grants? Because this is a really popular request among accounting firms that work with those particular industries.
Totally. I think that's a great example of a spreadsheet use case. They'll receive grants, for example, and the grants will have to be accounted for. Hey, we use this grant for these projects, and here's the payroll expenses and the consulting expenses and whatever else it is that fall into the buckets of these grants. This is how we know we used all of the grant and didn't double count some expenses for your grant and somebody else's, which is a big no-no. The donors don't want to know that you're charging your expenses to their project and also to another. That doesn't feel fair. People don't necessarily lie and cheat about it on purpose, but sometimes because of their systems, they're unable to figure out, and okay, great, I want to move this expense to this other project. All right, just change the percentage in the spreadsheet. We'll update the entry in QuickBooks for you.